So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with an incredibly special The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now after getting the last Great One Moose that I posted a video on, I came back to Medved Tiger and continued to shoot some more moose. And I could only have shot maybe between 30 and 50 moose, a couple of diamonds, just continuing doing the exact same thing as I've been doing, and then I show up to this particular zone right here and I spot this. A quad paddle, Fabled Ashen, Great One Moose. Oh my god. That is one of my top favourite combinations, and it's one of the racks I really wanted to get. I wanted to get all the racks for moose. I still needed a quad paddle, and Fabled Ashen is my absolute top favourite fur for the Great One Moose. And this guy shows up. I cannot believe it. Literally, like I said, I can't have shot more than between, I think, 30 to 50 moose. It was only a few runs, and then this guy shows up. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say, I didn't know what to do. It was like I was in a dream. They have just been showing up so frequently recently, ever since I changed my grinding style, which I've talked about in the previous videos, and I'll talk about it again here. Focusing on just shooting the bigger males, ignoring the smaller ones. So for moose I've been leaving level 1s and level 2s, just focusing on the 3s and 4s. Just my grinds have been popping off absolutely insanely. And this ends up happening on the first time I try to get close to this guy. He goes aggressive. Now, little did I know that this was going to be a theme with this particular Great One Moose. That he was going to be the most aggressive moose I have ever encountered. Which, considering he is a Fabled Ashen, which is the scarred up warrior type fur, you know, it just couldn't be more fitting. To me, this is an old warrior moose. That fur is what that signifies for me. Like, he's got these scars because he's been out here, he's won so many fights, and he's survived. He's a big, tough old warrior. And so for him to be the single most aggressive moose I've ever encountered was just insane. So you'll see that he actually killed me, but he stays aggressive over at his zone. So we're going to just run straight back and go and continue this encounter, which is just so cool. I was hoping that he wouldn't just turn and flee, and he just stands there aggressive, posturing, waiting for me to come back. It's just absolutely insane. He is such a beast. I mean, what an incredible looking creature. Almost prehistoric looking in my head. That is just so unbelievably cool. And to be charged by this monster over and over was just absolutely ridiculously cool to me. I mean, I can't explain how much fun I was having while this guy was just trying to basically kill me the whole time. You get such nice close-up looks at the fur, at the rack. It's just incredible. Now, this kind of thing has been observed with moose in real life, where they have ended up growing sort of multiple paddles. It's really cool, and if you look up non-typical moose on, Google, you'll find some really cool images, and it's really awesome, and I'm so glad that they actually decided to do something like that in-game, because this looks wild. I mean, just wild. Such an incredible moose. And again, it fits the 10 Fabled thing so well. And I think especially with a fur like this, you know, this is a moose of legend. This is a moose that, you know, maybe people have seen out there, and he's just never been able to be brought down because he's just this absolute legend of a creature. And that's what this just makes me think of. And just seeing him here, just posturing around aggressive, it just couldn't be more fitting in my head. Just absolutely insane. I am so incredibly stoked that this guy ended up showing up. I cannot believe it. I lost my mind as soon as I saw it. This is my first time, obviously, seeing the quad paddle up close and everything in-game for myself, so it's just incredible. And then for it to be on the Fabled Ashen, which is just my absolute favourite fur for these guys, is just amazing. I've actually never, with all of the Great Ones I've ever shot, got my top favourite fur for any of the Great One species. I've gotten, you know, maybe my second or third favourite, but I've never ever shot or got my first top favourite for any of them. And then for Moose, finally I end up getting my absolute favourite, which is the Fabled Ashen, which is so, so cool. And to just add to how aggressive this guy is, while I was tracking him around trying to find his different zones to film him in, I ended up actually seeing him attacking a lynx, which again, this just adds to the whole, he's such a big, old, aggressive moose that has won so many fights against, other moose, against predators, all of that, because just seeing him going aggressive against this lynx was such a cool thing. I mean, how often do you get to see a fabled moose going aggressive against a predator? It's not something you're going to see every day. This was really cool, and again, similar to the encounter I had with the Great One Moose and the 2 legendary wolves, this is something I wouldn't have seen if I wasn't tracking this guy around from zone to zone. If I didn't do this following him around and trying to get pictures, there's no way I would have seen this. It wouldn't have happened where I was going to see it. So it's just such a cool thing to get to see encounters like that, just because I'm following him around. And you can see, this is actually his rest zone. That is what I was trying to find when I saw him doing that. I was trying to get close to him in his rest zone when I saw him attacking that lynx, which is wild. Now, like I said, I was trying to actually get close to him in his rest zone when I saw that happening. So I was actually trying to follow this guy around to his different zones, the same as I've been doing with all of my great ones recently. But unfortunately, this guy had the worst zones in terms of for filming and for photography. They were just all in just such thick brush and just terrible areas for trying to get close and trying to get any kind of nice footage and pictures. It was really, really unfortunate. You can see just how thick the brush is here. And I kept trying to make him go alert to try and get him to stand up and maybe move into the sunlight or just somewhere where I could actually get some nicer footage and pictures. But he just wasn't having it. This guy was so uncooperative, which, it's not going to go the way that you hope every time in terms of with filming these guys and trying to get the pictures and stuff with the perfect lighting and everything. It's half luck with those kind of things, like with the Great One Whitetail on Red One Thule with the morning sunrise. That was luck that his zones were in such good places for that footage. But unfortunately, this moose just did not have those kind of zones. This was his feed zone, and he just never wanted to come out of the brush. The wind was always awful every time I tried to make an approach. And you can see here, he goes alert, and I knew he was going to end up spooking again, goes alarmed, and yeah, he's going to flee. And that's what was happening every time with this zone. It was just impossible to get close to him. So I even tried sort of getting there a little bit early and sort of getting into a position where hopefully the wind would be a little bit better. The wind kept switching on me, which wasn't helping. And you can see he comes up here calm, feeding, he goes attentive. And I knew as soon as he went attentive that we were going to have the same problem again. And he was really, really sensitive. This guy seemed to know what was up way more than the other moose I've tracked. But you can see, this time he goes aggressive again, which I really shouldn't be surprised by with this guy at this point, because he just, every opportunity he could get, this guy seems to like to go aggressive, which to me, like I said, is super, super cool. And getting to have this encounter over and over again with a Great One Moose is the coolest thing. I mean, I can't complain about being sat here and attacked by a beast like this. To me, it just adds to the whole story. I've talked about it before. These creatures, when they show up, it's not just, a trophy for me, it's an experience. And the experience of, ending up having to respawn after being killed by a Great One Moose, that's pretty up there in terms of experiences for me to have in this game. That's a really, really cool thing. It's cool, that the moose go aggressive now. That's one of my favourite changes that they've made in recent times. Giving animals like moose aggression is such a fantastic choice, I think. Gives them so much more personality. And I love the animals having more personality. Same as with the capercaillie. When they made them go aggressive, that was absolutely and is one of my favourite things in game. Gives them attitude, gives them character, and it makes the encounters with them so much more special, and therefore it makes them more enjoyable to hunt. And that is the same thing with the moose for me, because these guys are absolutely beautiful, for one, since they got their reworks. The great ones take that to a whole new level with these unique furs and obviously the unique antlers. So, you know, the chance of getting attacked by a great one moose is just incredible. And you know, you can imagine you could be out on a map hunting, have no idea that there's a great one there, and you get too close to it, and then suddenly you're being attacked by a great one moose, which I think would be one of the wildest experiences possible in this game, but it is possible now, which is such a cool thing, in my head at least. You know, these incredible giants being able to actually attack us and give us that really cool show off of their personality, I think is really, really cool. And we're going to get some more pictures of this guy in his drink zone, because this was the best zone I had in terms of getting pictures of him. It was just the best for photography and for trying to get close-up footage of him. I like to do the following around to the different zones and stuff and try and get, you know, footage in feed zones and stuff, but as you will have seen, they were just too brushy and it was just not working out. So I just decided that we'd just work with the drink zone this time, which is absolutely fine. You know, to me it doesn't matter. As long as I still get to spend time in the presence of these incredible animals when they show up, that's all that matters to me. And to no one's surprise at this point, once I got pretty close again, he goes aggressive again. This guy, literally the most aggressive. There has been times where I have had, you know, other Great One Moose and I've tried to make them grow aggressive, especially my second Great One Moose, the Fabled Speckled with the big typical paddles. He just refused to go aggressive. I got him aggressive like once, and then he just never ever wanted to go aggressive again. He was so flighty and shy, whereas this guy, so alert in comparison to the other Great One Moose, and so aggressive with it. He was so hard to approach, just because he would either know you were there and flee, or more frequently know you were there and then turn around and attack you. And once again, getting knocked out by him here, respawning back at my tent. And once again, he's not given up. He's still trying to now get to me, even though I've had to respawn at that tent. He is trotting over to me aggressive. He is not giving up on his attack, which is so, so cool. And you're going to see he actually ends up going straight past me here. And I think his AI got a little bit confused, and he was like registering that I was still over at the tent and still having to trot all the way over there. But it meant I got some kind of cool pictures if I do end up making a moose guide or a grinding guide, which I think I might just make a general grinding guide in the future, because that seems to be a request that I'm getting a lot since these guys have been showing up a lot. But like I said, basically I've just been leaving the really, really small animals, like I said, for moose level 1s and 2s, for fallow level 1s and 2s, whitetail level 1s, and then just focusing on shooting the bigger ones as they've been showing up, and it's made such a huge difference to my grinds. But those pictures might actually work for like a thumbnail in the future, so I thought I'd definitely take the opportunity to grab those while he was actually by my tent and tripod. Because yeah, for a grinding guide, we're going to be talking about tents and tripods, and obviously we're going to be talking about trying to get great ones and stuff to spawn, so I figured that was a pretty golden opportunity to grab those pictures while he was there. But look at him just posturing around. And because he's like extra fluffy, this is my other thing that I love about the Fabled Ashen fur. It's extra fluffy looking in comparison to the other Great One Moose. And when he has his head down like that, the sort of mane of fur on the back of his neck, it looks so impressive. Like, that is an incredible looking animal. He's absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, getting some really, really close-up pictures of him here, just while he was stood here, was quite cool as well. That scar over his face is absolutely awesome. And then finally, he gives up and flees. But he was aggressive for so long, it was absolutely wild. Now, this time I actually got to approach him and just get some nice pictures of him while he was actually calm and not trying to kill me for once. And you can really see those scars on his side. The other side on the fur isn't really as scarred as this side. Again, like I was talking about with the Fabled two-tone having a completely unique skin all the way around, so does the Fabled Ashen. It's not like repeated on both sides, it's unique the entire way around the animal. And you can see on this side he's got really 3 sort of big scars, or really kind of 4. He's got the one sort of up on his shoulder, the one across his belly, one sort of more on the front of his shoulder / leg, and then one on his hind leg there. Really just a scarred up beast. He's incredible looking, and I love the big dewlap on him as well. It looks bigger to me than on the other Great One Moose. I don't know why, it just does. Maybe it is slightly bigger, but it's always looked bigger to me on the Ashen ones. But that could just be because, like I said, they look extra fluffy. This is just such an incredible looking animal to me. I'm so stoked I got to get a Fabled Ashen. Absolutely incredible. This is like the equivalent of the Fabled Silver and Fabled Painted Fallow, the Fabled Glacier Black Bears. It actually really does remind me of the Fabled Glacier Black Bears, especially because the Fabled Glacier Black Bears, of course, have the scars as well. So it really does remind me of those. But in terms of being my favourites, you know, those are some of my favourite furs for the different Great Ones. And like I said, I've never ever actually gotten my exact favourite fur. I've gotten close, I've gotten like second and third favourites, but never gotten my top favourite for any of them. So to finally get my top favourite fur for a Great One is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild, and I couldn't be happier that it happened with Moose. I really couldn't. And it just makes me want to go and chase, you know, more Great One Fallow to get silver and painted, more Great One Black Bears to try and get the Fabled Glacier and Chestnut furs. You know, it really just does encourage me to want to go after those different things even more, because there's nothing like getting to see what has been my favourite fur to see, you know, other people get and to see pictures of, but to see it in game for myself is a whole different experience. And yeah, I'm definitely wanting to keep grinding for more different Great Ones and hopefully get some more of my favourite furs for the Trophy Lodge, because this is incredible. But now it comes the time to take this incredible giant, and we're going to take him with the 50 cat block muzzleloader, and this moment had me panicking. Now, I was pretty confident I made a good shot there, but I couldn't keep the spot outline on him, didn't see his health drop before I actually lost spot of him, and I couldn't see the blood until I got way closer to where I actually shot him. Saw the vital blood on the ground, breathed a bit of a sigh of relief, because, I say it every time, the moment of shooting a Great One always freaks me out. Always. You'll see I was double checking the ammo, double checking everything. Normally I'd cut that out, but I thought I'd leave it in for this one, just because it is such a moment of panic for me. Now, unfortunately, he landed in not a great place, so we're just going to pick him up and make sure that no crashes or anything happen. A Fabled Ashen Great One Moose. And not only is he a Great One Moose with that Fabled Ashen fur, he's an absolute bloomin' monster. 292.81 score. And 698.31 kg. That's nearly max. They max at 700 kg. This guy is a brute. An absolute brute. There is no other words to describe him than giant, brute, monster. He is incredible. This is the pinnacle, I think, for me so far of Great One hunting. This is my favourite Great One I think I've ever shot. Just incredible. I couldn't love it more. I love this rack. I love it. It's so unique. It looks incredible from every angle that you look at it. It's got such an incredible look to it. And then this fur. My days. What an incredible animal. Wow. Literally can't describe to you how much panic happened when I couldn't see his health dropping. My palms were cold sweating. I was that panicked. I genuinely thought I might have screwed it up. And even though I felt confident with that shot when I took it, I was just like, you know, what could have gone wrong? I never, you know, in that moment, I always think that there's some element of chance that I've screwed it up. And that just makes me feel almost sick to my stomach with panic. It doesn't compare. and then finally getting to pick him up and see that everything is okay, and not just is everything okay, but he's an incredible beast with that score and that weight is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I just don't know what else to say. I've said, again, I do this every Great One video, I ramble. It's because I'm so excited about this. You know, I shot this guy last night and I'm finally getting to record it now. The buzz that I get from rewatching the footage and getting to talk about it is wild. It's like the same, almost like the same as when I spot him and I get to tell people that there's a Great One on the map. That buzz for me is so intense. I absolutely love it. And you can see, taking a look on the x-ray, that shot was pretty darn perfect for what I wanted. You know, that's punched way through that lung. Even at that quartering angle, that's pretty much solidly where I wanted to put that shot. You know, he's definitely going to go down from that. It's obviously clearly a vital hit. Pretty much dead centre of that lung as well. I couldn't have asked for a better shot, but just in that moment where I lost the spotting on him, I can't explain how panicky I was. Literally held my breath until I went and picked up the vital blood track, and only then did I calm down just a little bit. But again, until I actually pick him up and see that everything is good and we do have the medal and everything, it's always a panic for me. But just look at this guy up close in this screen. The tines on this rack are incredible. Can you imagine seeing something like this in real life? And like I said, this has been recorded and documented with real life moose where they have grown sort of extra paddles like this. I've seen the pictures and it's nuts. You can get some really wild looking moose in real life. You know, even like with the big non-typical rack, there's definitely racks from what I have seen, again, looking on the internet through pictures of non-typical moose, there's definitely things they've based that off of. And just the idea of this being like a potential real life thing that you could see is just insane. Obviously it's going to be incredibly rare, but that just adds to the whole Fabled thing. And then again, it being a fabled moose, you're going to think of an older moose, a moose that's lived for a long time and just never been brought down. And that's why he's fabled, because the stories have been passed from person to person about this incredible moose with these incredible antlers. And you know, that's why he's got to this size. He's a big old brute. And so for him to be covered in scars, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. He's an old warrior. That's the whole time. That was the phrase that was in my head, was old warrior. To me, this is the warrior moose. And he's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. The design for these. The Great One moose are my favourite Great One. There's no question about it. The more of these I've shot, the more of them I've got to see, they are my favourite Great One. They are just incredible. I love the antlers, I love the furs. I think the design team did such an incredible job with these guys that, you know, they're just, when you see one, it's just, you're not going to not be impressed by the sight of a Great One moose, I don't think. I think anybody sees a Great One moose, the first thing is going to be, oh wow, the size of them, the uniqueness. They're just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And I couldn't be happier to say that I have been lucky enough to harvest a few of these guys now, and that now I get to put this guy into my lodge as well with my other Great Ones. What an incredible bull. I keep saying incredible, but he is. To me, he is. I am so happy. And I was just going through the different poses here, just sort of looking to see what pose I think shows off that rack the best. And I really like just this natural looking standing pose. And you've got the two spider rack Great Ones either end of the room as well. And you then have this guy. And we get to take a closer look here at the detail in that fur. And those scars, they really are so prominent. It's really cool to actually see how they did that. It looks really awesome. And I love the different, like, the little speckles in his fur as well. And the fact that he's sort of greyish and he's got, like, the lighter grey on the face and everything, it adds to the whole, he's an older moose with the old greying fur. Really fantastic. It does look like an old moose, the way that they've actually done all the subtle little changes with the greys and little white speckles in the fur as well. He just does look old. Wow. An ancient moose that's lived out there for all these years, fought off predators, fought off other moose, and has survived, and has this incredible set of antlers to boot. The way that splits looks absolutely insane. Just like, that's so cool to me. And those tines, those long tines. Really, really epic. Just every angle of this guy. I'm never ever gonna find it old to look at this guy in my lodge. I could stare at him forever. He's incredible, and that's why he's going on this centre mount. My favourite Great One moose. My favourite Great One I think I've ever harvested. Like I said, having my favourite fur out of all of the furs that they have. I can't believe I got lucky enough to get a Fabled Ashen. Finally. So many moose kills to get all of these Great One moose I have. It's so many thousands of moose that I've shot. And, you know, finally I've got the luck with the moose, and finally I get to see a Fabled Ashen in the flesh. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked, and I cannot wait to share this video. But before I get emotional, again, talking about this, that is going to be it for this one. So thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always. You have all been really, really incredible, and the support, like I keep saying, has been really, really humbling. So thank you so much. I love reading your comments. It's such a joy for me to be able to share these experiences and to be able to discuss them and talk about them with you all. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. But that is going to be it for this one. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.